Good afternoon, David.
Afternoon. How you
How are
doing?
you? I'm all right yourself.
What's the phrase? Any snout?
Right. Anyway, well, we want to see who's in. Thank you, Mr. Lee, for your kind generosity today.
Yeah. Wow,
Thank you.
me. Wow.
Afternoon, Reagan Elite, Eddie, Robert Bruce, Stephen McNeil. Who else we got? Stephen Nicol, Stephen Charlton. Nice, Stephen.
Can
Long
can I
Appeal. In.
can I put out an appeal? I want to be adopted by Mr. E or some of these people or Alistair or whoever keeps on doing these massive blooming donations. Wonderful. Please adopt me. Please.
Right, who else again? Hashbury's in. Laurie's in. Eddie Wolf's in. Wolf Pet's in. Melanie's in. Aki's is in. Tina up there in Dundee. Hi, Tina. Right, suppose we better get started.
Yeah.
We're starting up a real story about politics today that's happening here in Scotland right now.
Wow.
Aye. Anyway, let's get the boring bit now, shall we? The Green Party have been
Yes.
having their list election. They only run in list seats, as you know, and there's X amount of regions. And so they've had the election for the list seats. Now, each party traditionally lists about 7 people on the list. Did you know that, David?
Yeah, I did know that. Yes, yes.
Pretty boring, isn't it? It is boring. But it is important because the Greens work with us.
Yes, but the thing is, here's the awful thing. They are having an election to put people on a list that don't get voted for, so therefore they get chosen out of a list to make up. You had to be there, I suppose, right?
Aye, I suppose you do have to be there, didn't you? By the way, David, just so we're all clear, all the parties want these fucking elections.
No, no, I mean, this is the thing. It's like, and you accuse me of being down fucking rabbit holes when the Greens do something like that. Come on.
The Greens dig their own rabbit holes, come on. Well, anyway, what's interesting about it? And I mean, the only thing that's interesting about it is because all the sitting MSPs, including Patrick Harvey, still come number one in the Greens lists for the region, with the exception of one sitting MSP, and that is Maggie Chapman. Now, Maggie Chapman's been replaced by a Guy Ingerson, who stood against Stephen Flynn in the Westminster election.
Yeah.
Now, why is Maggie dropped in the pecking order?
Yeah,
Well,
go on, tell them.
it would appear that the party members in the Green Party are no happy with Maggie being unhappy with the Supreme Court ruling, and they're no happy with Maggie stating that what happened on October 7th, 2022 wasn't terrorism, it was a strike for decolonisation.
Yes.
That's interesting wording.
There are other ideas on that, but I won't go into them because I'd need to pop out my rabbit hole to do that.
No, David, we were talking about this before, and there's certain things I think you could be right in this one, but we still can't see it because no evidence is for such. And as such, we would get our arses booted off the air.
Yes.
So, so really, Maggie has been basically downgraded by a party for being unhappy and criticising the judiciary, and being unhappy and criticising the depiction of what happened on October 7th, 2022, as a terrorism event. Because let's face it, when we look at it properly, they are the occupied people and they are allowed to struggle against that occupation under international law.
Damn right.
Here we have it branded as terrorism.
Yeah, incidentally, segue. Scotland, exactly the same. If we are colonised, we have a right to push against that colonisation.
And we are doing politically, of course.
Yes.
We are doing it in the right manner, but as these people were properly oppressed with violence,
yes,
they're using the right legal recourse. It's just how this has been framed. And because a politician has actually reset the framing to where it should have been in the first place, she's been downgraded and deselected basically by a party, meaning she's not going to be back in the Parliament.
Yeah.
Which is pretty sad. You expect better for the Greens, David.
Just a bit.
You know, I do. Maybe I've set my expectations of the Greens too high.
Yeah.
But at least for the get-go, the SNP came out and made it clear this is genocide. Yeah. And, of course, they agree that the violent acts of October the 7th, as we all do, wasn't called for. But at the same time, they have, under international law, the right to take such actions.
But then when you look at it the other way, as I did before the show,
yep,
and that also makes a lot of sense.
It does, aye, but I'm afraid we just can't talk about it here. We can talk about it in private.
Sorry, guys, I can't mention it because what would happen is then we definitely would get shot off the air.
Yes. Right, let's move on, shall we? All very interesting. So the Green List's only changed by one person in the regions. The people who will be standing with its chance for election, because only number one and number two on the list have generally got its chance. And generally actually only number one on the list. But here we go. Right, Police Scotland to investigate anti-genocide march in Edinburgh. Now, they were framing it as a pro-Palestinian march in the newspapers and the mainstream media, the BBC, Sky and things like that. When the truth is, this is nothing to do with Palestine. This is going to do with violence against other humans to the point where you're going to wipe their whole group out.
Yeah.
It's an anti-genocide march. And this pro-Palestinian push and anti-Semite push needs to be put in a shelf here.
That's right.
But anyway, they're investigating two groups, David. Defend our judiciary, and the other group is Solidarity with Palestine Scotland. Now, one group was holding up placards that said, genocide in Palestine, time to take action. That was on the marchers for the Solidarity for Scotland march in Edinburgh at the weekend.
Yeah.
And the other one said, anti-genocide, we support Palestine action.
Yeah. Just Palestine, time to take action. That's right.
Right. That was the one that says defend our judiciary or our judges. Now, they were outside St Giles Cathedral holding these signs. Now, you could actually, if we accept that Palestine Action should be a prescribed terrorist group, then you could basically say that maybe they were supporting a prescribed terrorist group. We don't accept that Palestine Action was a prescribed terrorist group. We just don't accept that.
Sorry, I challenge anybody from the Home Office or anybody involved with the Home Office to come and explain to me the logic of making such a group, such a name, such an organization, such an affiliation as being a terrorist group.
Aye,
the logic beggars belief. It really does.
Meanwhile, David, down that road, the political campaign might is being muscle is being flexed against people protesting against genocide. 100 more arrests at the weekend for words that could be construed to mean that you support Palestine action. You know, words like
excuse this depiction, right? But I look at Police Scotland and their anti-terrorist branch. Somebody's taken the fucking elastic band off their fucking willies. And it's like, seriously, we are in danger of people being locked up.
Metaphor, dear boy.
Sorry, we're in danger of Scottish people being locked up.
Yes.
With that, right? And
we'll get a wee bit more of that later on.
Yeah, we'll have more of that in a minute. So, but to be honest with you, David, this is ridiculous. What's happening in England? Basically, in England, a long time ago, they were told to stop protesting, and we're not talking about Palestinian action. We're talking about anything, any kind of thing. And so basically what's happened is you have now got an entire country, England, that effectively are not allowed to protest against anything.
But they're going.
Oh yeah, don't worry, they will continue.
This government seems to have underestimated the attitude of people because so far since, say, Palestine action has been prescribed, 280 people have been arrested under the Terrorism Act. And you,
And
David, you told me about these figures last year. The whole of last year, only 248 people were arrested. But in the last fortnight, 280, and 80 of them were at The Hague.
yeah, was before the prescription.
And it was
Yes.
before they were prescribed, that's right.
Yeah.
And as we spoke about, 14 activists have had their houses raided in Cardiff, Leeds, and was it Birmingham?
Yeah.
And had all their electronic devices stolen under the Terrorism Act. This is political oppression of
Yes.
freedom of speech down that road.
No, but the thing is, though, what is actually happening is that they are the right wing elements that are causing this to happen and have caused a prescription within the Home Office list, effectively are using the police as a right wing arm to cause damage. Seriously, the idea of people saying, "Oh, this is a police state," is becoming the fact. It's becoming really that's what it is now. It's a police state.
Police Scotland were really nobody got arrested on Saturday, and they're being forced to investigate this by the anti-terrorist code.
So, in other words, what you're saying is they're doing the foxtrot round about the actual issue, quite rightly. And I would say that if you were a beat officer and you were said, go and shoot that man for wearing that T-shirt that says I support Palestine action, right? You would go, sorry, my gun's bent, or the bullets refuse to come out the barrel.
David, hold on, we've got people watching from outside and the rest of them. Folks, we're police don't carry guns. We don't have police. David, you need to be careful with your metaphors. He's got a limp baton. Sorry, mate. Go batten him and drag him out the couch. Sorry, mate, my batons went limp.
And that speaks 1,000 words to me.
Aye.
That in actual fact, our police, our standard beat officers, have got more backbone than any other police in the United Kingdom. Seriously. I'm proud to be Scottish, if that's the case. Proud to be Scottish.
Well, Mr. E, that's one way of putting it. It began through religion. What is happening is empirical. Solomon's gold. Now, not being a religious man, I'm not up to what Solomon's gold's up to, but maybe David might be.
Not interested.
Nathan, that's the impression we have.
Yeah.
But we've discussed this before. I thought Scots law was independent within these lands. Funny enough, it was right up until 1998.
That's right.
When they gave themselves oversight through something called the Scotland Act, 1998. It's a wonderful piece of literature. But anyway, these people are being looked into under the 2006 and 2010 Anti-Terror Acts. The 2006 Act are using Section 1 and 2, and the 2010 Act are using Section 12 and 13. All right. And these are sections that provide for arrest of those who help prescribe terrorist organisations.
This particular situation where they're having to cherry pick different bits of different acts in order to say to people, you're wrong in doing that. Effectively, if you imagine somebody getting taken to court over something, it's effectively what's happening is the police are saying, you are wrong by doing that, and we'll figure out in a minute what it is you're wrong. How it is you're wrong.
David, I have actually seen this in action in Scottish courts. I used to advocate for people who were getting involved with their children, getting involved in the children's panel. And I've sat and watched judges conflate the Families Act and the Children's Act to get the result that they want.
Yeah.
I have watched it happen. I was actually threatened with contempt of court in Lanarkshire Court for demanding that she explain to the person I was advocating for Children's Act. And I was told by the judge, any more of that, and we'll have you for contempt of court.
Yeah, yeah. I was threatened to go to Durham prison myself, so I know what it feels like. Right. So, uh, all well and interesting. What about the other terrorist action we heard about?
In a minute, David, we'll nowhere near that
Oh,
one. You've
oh,
no keys here. Because we still have to talk about our friend, Sean Clerkin, getting arrested.
oh, yes, yes, Mr. Clerkin, yes.
Mr. Clerkin's the second person in Scotland to be arrested under the Terrorism Act for showing support for Palestine or Palestine action. Last week it was a 63-year-old man. This week a 53-year-old man. This week Sean Clerkin at 64, and he was holding up a placard that said something very similar to "I oppose the genocide in Gaza and I support Palestine action," and he was
Don't,
listening for it.
don't forget, we're not so very upset about that because, well, to be honest with you, Sean Clerkin is not in my Christmas card list. Neither
He's
Dave.
another man's a nutter.
Yeah, it's
He's a dangerous nutter.
because of what he did.
He set back the movement by 10 years.
That's right. So as far as I'm concerned, it's like my yes campaign was hurt by what I mean, injured badly by what this gentleman, Sean Clerkin, actually did. So if he's trying to get himself back into the news, can I say to the police, do as he wants? Can I say to the courts, do as he wants? Lock him up for 100 years, and we'll all be happy. He'll be happy as well. Yeah.
I mean, I'm no one of Sean's biggest fans, and he knows it. But for all this is Sean's forever pulling stunts like this and getting himself lifted.
Stupid.
He's forever pulling silly stunts like this, getting himself noticed, getting himself lifted, and it achieves nothing.
Yeah.
The way he goes about things, almost everything Sean touches turns to shit. Anyway, Mick Napier, founding member of a Scottish Palestine Solidarity Group, he said the reason for the large turnout at the march in Edinburgh at the weekend there was because people are absolutely flabbergasted by Israel's plans to turn Rafah into a concentration camp.
Yes. Rafah, if any of you know the geography of it, the Rafah crossing is right at the southernmost tip of Gaza that meets up with Egypt. And that's where, if you've seen any pictures of the aid lorries sitting outside, they sit outside the Rafah gate, which is
this is quite interesting because one of the ways to get off that prescribed list is to disband the prescribed organisation. So Palestine Action was to declare that they were disbanding as a group. They could always regroup as Action for Palestine.
in actual fact, that wouldn't work. And the reason it wouldn't work is because people are getting picked up for just saying, I support Palestine.
Yes.
They don't have to say the words Palestine Action.
They're lifted in Leeds.
Yeah.
For holding up a placard. Essentially, a head teacher in Leeds arrested for holding up a placard saying that he supported Palestine. No Palestine action, just Palestine.
Also, stop the genocide in Gaza. That's enough to get lifted as well. Right? So, in actual fact, what's happening is the police are down in England or in Wales, let's say, they are sort of being a wee more, what's the word? Non-discerning as I regard that. But they do, something to do with policy, something to do with Gaza, something to do with genocide, lift them. That's that, end of story.
This one made us both laugh because of the optimism of the project name. All right, folks. So last week on Wednesday, the Governor General for Scotland, Wayne Murray, visited Faslane to announce 200.
What are you doing? About the fence breakers.
Direct action was the last one, and we're coming back onto direct action. All right, defence breakers are next.
I'm sorry, but as far as I was concerned, one led on to the other.
They did, so we wanted to separate them out because there's different cause and effect.
So we put an idiot like Ian Murray in between.
In the middle, because everybody needs a comedy moment.
Right. Okay.
Upset the scheduling, folks. I'm getting it.
Anyway,
together.
Ian Murray's got 250 million to spend. He spent it on blowing fast lane. What they're doing is they're getting new carpets, curtains, and paintwork, right? And it's like that's going to keep loads of people in Scotland employed, and it's going to make sure that our hero submariners, when they come home to dear old fast lane, they've got somewhere warm and comfortable to warm their feet by the fire. Simple as that.
Right, now we'll get out of the box and tell you exactly what's happening, eh? You see, David's impressed with the fact he couldn't run out one story right on the other, wanting to break it apart a wee bit. No, this is important, folks, because of the name of the project. It's all right. So, let's get to the meeting to measure. Scottish Governor General Ian Murray shows swamp at Faz Lane with another muppet for the Home Office. For the Home Office, not the Ministry of Defence, for the Home Office, to tell us that they're going to spend 250 million updating the facilities to facilitate the new Astute class submarine, which they're having problems fucking building. Anyway, Murray says it was part of the Clyde 2070 project. Talk about optimism. The Governor General thinks they're going to have us pegged to this union to 2070.
If that's the case, hand me the pills to kill myself now.
Well. You know, I just thought, I mean, that was funny. Anyway, of course, he claims that the upgrade will bring an economic boost to the area. If it does, it'll be short term. But generally, at Disney, folks, it's normally Babcock and a Serco who get awarded this work, and they generally bring in contractors to work Monday to Friday from the south of the border, and then back at the weekend.
They actually work with employment consultants. You don't you don't actually employ, you don't go to these particular firms and go, hey, any jobs going? What happens is employment consultants are brought in. They cost a fortune. So in other words, part of your 250 billion is going to the employment consultants, who will then go ahead and shortlist people to go forward to be employed. So by the time we get there, they've spent maybe 249 million. So we'll go to the SES or wherever and get some carpet and curtains for hours about that.
See what normally happens, you're absolutely correct, David. Babcock and a Serco who have got clearance to do this sort of work, they will hire consultants to find people with clearance that could be employed in these jobs, or find people who are suitable to be put forward for clearance to work in these jobs. So, as
I've got a better idea. Time for independence. Let's get shot at a whole fucking shooting match. Something like that.
Been trying for the last fucking 12 years. Keep it easy, big man. Calm. Right. Okay.
Right. Now can we do the
No, that's been held up. Now we're going to the BBC Scotland's mental gymnastics.
Oh, shite. Right, okay, here we go.
Right, folks, you know, last week we announced that the Office for National Statistics had put out the latest unemployment figures. Well, they've now released the unemployment figures for Scotland. In England, unemployment is at 4.7. In England, Wales, unemployment's at 4.7%. Here in Scotland, it's 3.7%. Now, that cannot be had. So what did they do? The BBC have put an article to tell us that the Scottish figures have a margin of error of 0.7%, but the English and Welsh figures don't. So the Scottish unemployment figures could be as low as 3% or as high as 4.4%. Now, if the ONS made the same margin of error available for England and Wales, which they seem to have made available for Scotland for some reason, then that means that England could have lower unemployment than us if ours was up at 4.4 and theirs was down at 4%. You have no idea the mental gymnastics they had to go through to come up with it.
It's like that fucking song, I Am My Own Granddad. Something as that. Seriously.
Pure mental gymnastics. Now, apparently, the Office for National Statistics don't make mistakes when they're calculating the unemployment figures for England and Wales, but they do make mistakes when they're calculating for Scotland if Scotland's unemployment figures are lower.
So, what's the moral of this story? The moral of this story is that simple, right?
Aye, BBC's
When
not
dealing with anything to do with Scotland, there is a positive case for Scotland, then they have to demoralise Scotland. That's their fiduciary duty as a broadcaster called the British Broadcasting Corporation, right? And what they do is they find any way they can to take that good news story for Scotland and put a bad slant on it. So therefore, demoralising the people of Scotland and thinking, "Oh, we're absolute shites, aren't we? We can't even get our unemployment figures right."
Now, the interesting thing about that is how it was worded on the website, and this is interesting, folks. See, when we're talking about the margin of error in the Scottish figures produced by the ONS, instead of saying that the correct figures are correct in England, or that there isn't as big a margin of error in England, what they say is there is a margin of error of 0.7% either way in Scotland's figures, not so much in England and Wales. Not so much in England and Wales. As I was wondering, I've copied it down. So that's how they get running this mental gymnastics. You know, the ONS can produce precise figures for England and Wales, but they can't for Scotland. Because Scotland's figures are lower, so they must be wrong. They must be wrong.
The best thing you can do about this is listen to it and just have a fucking laugh about it, because really, that's all that's left.
That's all it's
That's
like.
all that's left. I mean, seriously, BBC have hit the bottom of the barrel with this. They really have, right? And they've bounced off the bottom of the barrel, and they went, "Oh fuck, we can't really go any deeper than that."
Reverberation. I
Yeah,
mean, that's no real, isn't it? I mean, the figures have got, the ONS gets the figures right for England and Wales, but doesn't get them right for Scotland. That can't be it. You never had so much bollocks in all your life. And in Scotland's figures is a margin of error of 0.7%, very precise,
yeah.
but not so much in England and Wales. But not so much in England and Wales. How the fuck does that work? That's the word I know. I'm very specific to call for that term down. Not so much in England and Wales.
Dear.
Very precise on the figure for Scotland, on the margin of error, but not so much in England and Wales.
Right. Can we go on to the blooming fence breakers now?
28 minutes, high we can. Somebody's got to keep a schedule. All right, and see in court for driving a van into Leonardo's front gates in Crewe Road in Edinburgh. 3 women, aged 31,
Right,
42.
first off, I'll act as the who are Leonardo's? Who the fuck is it? Leonardo DiCaprio? What is it? Leonardo's what?
They're an arms manufacturer in Crewe Road in Edinburgh.
What do they do? They produce arms for the British Army or what?
No, they're producing arms for Israel, specifically guidance systems, actually, I believe, David.
Right.
And shielding systems for military vehicles.
Thanks.
Yep.
Right. So at the end of the day, it's like you had 3 women who were doing a terrorist action. They were going to drive the van into it and destroy all the machines that produce everything, right? And as far as they got was a fence. All right. So, in actual fact, was it not just really a bit of a protest?
Well, David, they're going to get interesting, but these 3 people drove into the front gate of this factory, right? Deliberately damaged the front gate of the factory, okay? Yeah. Now, they could have told the police, like you and I were discussing, that they'd lost control of the vehicle, but they made it clear it was in protest of these people providing weapons that were killing women and children in Palestine.
Yes, that's right.
So they were arrested under the 2000 Terrorism Act.
Yep.
And they're appearing in court right now, today, and there's protests outside the court.
Why was it Why was it a terrorism act that was
I have
used?
no fucking idea, David. This is the thing
At
that
the end
interests
of the day, at the end of the day, I've got to say, she have been uh, arrested under criminal damage.
me. Willful damage.
That's what they did. They created criminal damage.
Yes,
So sorry, Pet, you've damaged that gate or whatever, right?
aye.
Probably one of these bars that goes up and down or whatever, right? And it's like, yeah, that's you're being charged under criminal damage. Why are they being charged under terrorism act?
You know, that's a
Why?
very good question, David, because there must be some amount of mental gymnastics to get to terrorism for striking an inanimate object with a vehicle.
Yet
Striking
again,
people with a vehicle, terrorism.
yet again, I have to say, we're now making it up. If you ram your car into your next door neighbour's blooming house or gate or fence, then you can be done with criminal damage.
What
Or
terrorism?
driving without due care and attention or whatever,
Now
right?
you can get done for terrorism because
No, no,
apparently
no, no, we're talking about your neighbour. We're talking about your next door neighbour, right? Okay, so therefore you would not be charged with terrorism, right? However, if it's a company that produces something, screw, a nut, a bolt, whatever, that goes to Israel, that's a terrorist attack.
if you attack one of the facilities, aye. But you and I both know it's no terrorism. And
Okay.
the mental gymnastics that go us here
No,
and
but
the actual misuse of the 2006, 2010 terrorism acts here in the UK is a sign that this state has walked right into fascism.
my argument on that would be that in that situation, it is false arrest.
Well, now we'll get somebody here saying his understanding is they haven't been charged as terrorism. Stuart, our understanding and reading the story this morning was they've been charged under the Terrorism Act 2000.
This particular article that we were covering is 3 hours old.
3 years old. So maybe the judges changed it. Maybe the judges went around, no, you're not having terrorism. Maybe
Yeah,
criminal damage.
yeah.
You know, there's a great chance that the judge might have rejected that.
It needs what it needs is for this to be effective. It needs for the police to go, oh, sorry, my batten's gone all bendy. I cannot really hit somebody, right? I'll stand there and I'll watch as people put on T-shirts that say, "I support Palestine action" or whatever, right? But I'll not do anything. And
Aye.
also, it needs where people are actually arrested for criminal damage to be taken to the court and for the courts to go, no, guys, our procurator fiscal is looking at this and going, you can't have them under the Terrorism Act. You can have them under criminal damage. It needs for our people, our Scottish people, to assert themselves in terms of what is normal, common, natural law.
Well, David, as I say, you and I, after going through the article and finding out about the protests that are outside the place, with 31 protesters there, Palestine flags in support of the women who are being prosecuted. Now, David, as we said, these women have obviously made it clear that it was a direct action in protest, right? Because three women in a van swerving into a gate, you could
Yeah,
quite easily claim lost control of the vehicle.
yeah, but hold on a
Three men
second.
in a van swerving into a gate, you could claim
Hold on.
lost control of the vehicle.
Question should be, did you intend to go into that gate? Oh, yes. Yes. Right, okay, we're arresting you for criminal damage. Anything you say will be taken down and used against you and may be used against you in court of law. However, right, at that time, they may say, oh, we did it because of X, Y, Z. Doesn't matter. They're being charged under criminal damage.
Yep. Now, the interesting thing, David, is the way that sections 12 and 13 of the 2010 Terrorism Act is being used in England and Wales to help people out of protest and things like that, with any wording of support of Palestine, is showing you that the state is worried and the people know the state is compliant in these genocides, and the state's trying to clamp down on any attempt to pull it up and hold it to account, because these fuckers value trade with the arms trade more than they value the lives of women and children.
Right. It's sorry to say it, guys. Bring down the fucking government in Westminster. Simple as that.
And it is time for a police investigation in the
Yep.
name of the people
Yes.
into
Yes.
complicity by the executive in
How's
genocide.
about we complain? We put in a complaint about the Home Office. Must be able to, because the Home Office are causing a situation where a group, a protest group, people that are just voicing support for that protest group are actually being locked up under terrorism charges. Right?
But it's more than that, David. They know they're complicit in a crime, and they know that we, the people, know they're complicit in a crime, and they're attempting to shut the people up, whether they support Palestine action or not.
Yes.
Even the way you frame Palestine, what they call pro-Palestine protests, you and I know that they're anti-genocide protests.
Yeah.
And they would be anti-genocide protests no matter where that genocide was going on.
That's right.
But these are being framed like football protests. One side you've got the Israel football fans, one side you've got Israeli fans, the other side the Palestinian fans. That's not what this is. But that's what this government and the media are trying to turn it into. And it would appear that the pro-Israel side actually has the power to lift the fans on the other side and throw them the fucking clink. Basically, this is political oppression of the will of the people to be obeyed. 76% in the last poll said that the people want the UK government to stop dealing with Israel. Full stop. Because of what's going on.
Yeah.
And that 76% is being oppressed by that government. Any form of support for Palestine, and you're being yanked off the street under one of these three terrorism acts: 210, 206, and 2000. Whatever one they can make fit round about what they think they want to convict you of.
This
That's
is now, this is now a case where most definitely the saying that says evil happens when a good man or woman fails to act really, really comes front and center in front of everybody.
And that's
And if you don't support what people are doing in terms of protest, if you're not protesting, you're part of the problem.
And by the way, protests can take place online as well as in the flesh.
Yeah.
You can promote BDS.
That's right.
You can promote boycott in Israel. You can promote events.
I say, oh, no, it sounds like a sexual act, so be careful, right?
You can promote events.
Yeah.
All over the UK,
yeah,
which are going to have demonstrations supporting the Palestinian people's cause and calling for the end of this genocide, calling for this government to be held to account for complicity in this genocide, and even more important, calling for this government to be prosecuted for misusing the Terrorism Act in ways it should never have been used. They are using the Terrorism Act to force dissent.
The problem is that the first people that holds the account are the police services, who could be charged under false arrest. Because the people, the commanders, are telling the police, look, you have to lock up these people. You've got to arrest these people that are wearing "I support Palestine action" or whatever, right? And at the end of the day, it's like, I don't want our police.
If they want to get down to the beat, Bobby, they can get there eventually. I want them to start at the top of a fucking tree and investigate the UK's complicity and politicians and government's complicity. And that goes all the way back to Sunak.
Politicians in government are the ones that need sorting out.
But the other thing I want investigated is this particular incarnation of the Labour Party's misuse of the Terrorism Act against the people of these islands, instead of being used to protect the people of these islands.
Yet again, falling down the rabbit hole. Is it being used on purpose to find out who the mouthy ones are? So, in
No,
other words, let's identify all the ones that would protest, and let's identify all the ones that are quiet, meek, and gentle. Well, if
no,
you're quiet, meek, and gentle now,
no.
seriously, guys, don't be so stupid. You'll be like that for the rest of your fucking lives.
It just, as I say, it's a political oppression of the will of the people. And I want the misuse of the Terrorism Act investigated
Yeah.
at judge level inquiry,
Yeah.
because this is outrageous. To see that government misuse the Terrorism Act and misuse of power to suppress legal protest
Yeah.
is fascist.
Well, so far, the scoring is as follows, right? In England, they've arrested 248 people in the last couple of weeks, right?
280.
280, sorry, 280, right? In Scotland, we arrested 3 women,
And
and
two men.
Sean Clerkin.
Oh,
Sean,
the guy who you four and all.
right. So at the end of the day, it's like Scotland's won the race. As far as I'm concerned, the Scottish police, I'm going, good guys. Yeah, let's
Scottish police are paying lip service to what the Home Office wants them to do. That's
good.
fair.
Let's keep it like that.
Aye, let's keep on that, because the next one moves us on to a Police Scotland story anyway, David.
Yes.
And
And
that is Police Scotland.
Police Scotland do want our support in that, because remember, Police Scotland, police by consent,
Correct.
the consent of the people. And if
Correct.
the people are all saying, stop this genocide, who the hell are the police who are policing by consent to say, no, we're going to lock you up for that?
Therefore,
Because some fucking idiot in London says, oh, it's on a fucking list. It says that anybody voting support for that it must be a terrorist. We've got to be a terrorist. Fuck off.
right, can we move on?
Yes,
It's
carry
another
on.
Police Scotland story, actually. But, folks, they're no crimes. This isn't a crime story. This is Police Scotland taking legal advice on Trump's visit.
Yes.
Now, Police Scotland say they can't police the country and police his visit. It's too big. And they are asking for assistance for the PSNI, Police Service Northern Ireland. Now, will they get assistance for PSNI?
Well, we got assistance from all over when you had the G7 conference up at Glen Eagles, right? And I remember I was a very naughty boy at that time, and I was in a Mondeo doing well over 100 miles an hour up
You
the
were in a fucking Mondeo. This story was incredible until you told me you were in a fucking Mondeo.
allegedly, right? We did over 100 miles an hour, right? And I was passing all these police vans, police cars, and all the rest of it, come up to Scotland for that. So yes, we already had, or where
David,
other.
there is much more up to date incidences where we with assistance for police forces outside with the G26 in Glasgow.
Yeah.
And we had that mob that were up policing the march for that COP26. I was on the march for Sarah,
Yeah.
and there was a police unit up following a bunch of people from England. They sent this unit up to police this mob of radicals from England. Eventually, they just pulled them out of possession. They actually pulled them out of possession. Just like that. We couldn't see what they were doing. It was wrong. But this English police force just woofed into the march and yanked them out. Just take them all out in one go.
Yeah.
Must have been dozens to 15 of these people. And
anyway, getting back to what we're talking about, Police Scotland effectively are. If you imagine, this is something that's been done so many times in the past. Why is this any different, right?
answer. They don't want to fucking
A
dare.
lot. I think a lot of the things that make it different is the fact that we've got one orange human being that is coming to Scotland that nobody fucking likes,
And that's
and is not an ally of Scotland or the United Kingdom for that matter, right?
that's interesting, David, because you know there's another thing. The police know there's going to be protest
Yeah,
when Donny's here, right?
right.
Especially when he's doing it at Trump.
Don't call him Donny. Call him the orange blimp. Call him anything you like, but don't call him Donny. Donny makes him sound fucking nice. He's
Okay.
not nice.
Anyway, the long and short of this, folks, is there's plenty of police officers to police us. They just don't fucking want to.
That's right. As far as I'm concerned,
You know,
hey guys, all of you that's chosen for being the on the thing, we've got John Swinney that's going to be there. Well, John Swinney's not going to be attacked because they didn't really see him as being a threat. John Swinney's just like a nice bloke that nobody would want to harm. Starmer, however, oh yeah, I can see a few people having a go at him, especially grannies and granddads. How's with that? Let's get them for some. And everybody from Grangemouth, let's have a go at it, right? But the most important one is the orange blimp.
So, folks, you see, I get the feeling that people have been drafted to do this duty and have went, no, fuck it, I don't want to do it.
Have a day off, guys. Pull a sickie. Pull a sickie. All of you, pull a fucking sickie.
Right, now, let's quickly wing through the comedy. Let's quickly wing through the comedy of today. All right. Because we're speeding quickly to the end. Like, right. Nigel Farage is making a speech today on rising crime rates in America. In the UK. And he's telling us all that he would build more jails to clean the streets as we were talking about this morning.
He's going further than that, though.
Oh, aye.
What he's doing is he's saying, if you fancy a free ride to El Salvador, a place you've never been before, that'd be really interesting, right? Just step out of line. Seriously.
Anyway, folks, the interesting bit is during the live speech, which was being broadcast on the BBC Live, right? The BBC were fact checking them all the way through. The only crime that's up right across these islands statistically is digital crime and fraud. The rest of them are down. Even in England and Wales, the crime rate's went down. Not quite as far down as it is here in Scotland, but it's went down. And Nigel's giving a speech on.
Don't forget, if it's ONS figures, it must be 0.7% out.
And of course, I can't wait to see what Daily Blasé comes up with this one, because Keir Starmer's in front of the Welfare Committee today to answer questions on support for the third sector, who are under pressure because of the cuts. And what it is his government are going to do to allay the fears and anxiety that his government have caused in the disabled community. Now, on the third sector, he made a left just fucking laugh, and one of the Tories ripped the piss out of him by asking him, what's up with help the third sector? You seem to be keen on accepting philanthropy. Boys, free ways and glasses and all that, you know. But on the question of what he was going to do about his government causing fears and anxiety, he waffled. He didn't offer an apology, nothing. He just said, it's your policy to get them back into work. We're just talking about unemployment figures in England. He's talking about getting them into work. What a fucking spanner. No apology, though, for the fear and anxiety that he's caused. When asked about it.
Get him out. Get him out.
He was asked directly, what about the fear and anxiety? Oh, waffle, get them into work. Waffle, get them into work.
He is the epitome of an evil person. Simple as that.
We did warn them.
Yeah.
We did warn people specifically that this man was a Trump, a Johnson, a liar, and a fascist.
I would actually, personally, I would say he's being directed by somebody, because there are situations whereby someone that is weak can be led a particular direction. And I would say he's a weak man that's being led to this. Still makes him an evil person. He is evil by accepting that. But there's another pair of hands operating Starmer. I don't know who it is. Okay, we could say, oh, it's maybe something to do with Israel because he's been bought by Israel. We know that, right?
Well, actually, it's policy chief Morgan McSweeney. That's more likely where it's coming from. But no, I don't wear it. I don't wear it. I just think the man's a fucking liar. And I think he is a fascist.
Yeah.
And I think he hasn't got any morals, and what morals he's got are up for sale.
Well, no, I listened to his summing up regarding the Kosovo Serbia thing, right? And you listen to that person wearing the funny hat, the wig, the funny wig, and the clothes, right? Doing his summation, and he was talking about genocide. He was talking about all the rest of it, right? And it was all very logical and straightforward and all the rest of it, right? And then you listen to this person, the one in front of us, Keir Starmer, and they are two entirely different people. I would say, in that case, somebody's got to. Somebody's got to the bastard. Simple as that.
Good afternoon, all sharks. Right. And then you brought this one up, David. There's a new Freedom ship
Oh, yes.
setting sail to Gaza. The new vessel heading to Gaza is the Hamdallah.
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 Yeah.
The previous one was the Madeline. The Madeline was hijacked by Israel in international waters.
Madeleine, yeah.
All right, the Madeline was hijacked by Israel in international waters and illegally taken to the Israeli state and Israeli port, where the people were held, as we know, and then deported.
That's right. 12 people that time. This time there are 19 people and 2 Al Jazeera reporters.
Right, any celebrities on that boat?
No, not celebrities as such. Interestingly, one of the ones that was deported is back on that ship. So I wonder what they'll do with him.
Aye, but so there's no Greta Thunberg in this one, no celebrity in this one.
No.
They're not going to hijack this one, they're going to fucking sink it.
You reckon?
Aye.
Oh. You say yourself, because we've got Al Jazeera reporters on it, is that possible? Well, in actual fact, Al Jazeera have lost many, many correspondents to the actions of the IDF.
Right, then we've got 7 minutes left, so we better talk about the European Union and Europe's 50-day push to rearm Ukraine.
Yeah.
Now, why are we in a 50-day push to rearm Ukraine?
Well, purely and simply, we've got a situation whereby the people in the Ukraine that are fighting against Russia are throwing everything at it. Simple as that. And you get to the point where they're not getting any help from America, right? And therefore, it's down to Europe to actually arm Ukraine and keep them up against Russia. But Russia's seemingly have got an unlimited supply of drones, weapons, all the rest of it to fire across.
Now, the other thing is, as you highlight, David, America has become an unreliable ally. Donny said he's going to start rearming Ukraine, but we know he's not.
He's right? Not. He's now, not. He's not. It's as simple as that. He's not.
That brings us to what David Dugan was saying about America being an unreliable ally, and that if the UK is going to be protected, it needs to get into a military pact with the European Union.
That's right. Yeah.
But of course, we know Starmer has special relationship with the big arms dictator whereby, you know,
well, the answer is let's get rid of Starmer and let's get things on to a real footing, right? Because what Dave Dugan's actually saying is very, very important.
Yes, because
America can no longer be considered as an ally.
not for as long as Donny will be in the White House.
Yeah, simple as that.
even for that, it's going to take years to repair the damage that he's done to America's reputation on the world stage.
Yeah. Simple as that.
So, folks, that's roughly it for the day.
Yeah.
We've got 5 minutes to go. I want to thank you for the super chat today. And we're just going to wrap it a wee bit. I'm going down into Motherwell on Friday to pick that paperwork up there. So hopefully we'll have a list compiled for you.
The best idea is for you to convert that, photograph it, and convert it onto a document you can put onto Facebook. That's the most sensible thing you can do.
Well,
that means people can look at it.
I'll work on it over the weekend.
Yeah, that's common sense. At the end of the day, just reading stuff out from a page.
I didn't even mention I read stuff out, David, because a lot of people who give to us don't want to be known. That's why they don't do it through the super chat thing.
It's the fact that it's there. That's whether people read it or not is unimportant. But it's the fact that it's there and it's a document that can be looked on.
Oh, listen, I could always blank out names. You know, I could blank out names with a pen, and then you would just see the sums. You know. So I can do it that way. I'll think about a Word document early weekend. But
I have a redacting rubber if you're interested. You can probably do the real job on it.
Anyway, as I say, I'll work on it early weekend.
As promoted by CIA and
a document I can put out physically for people to get a read. I'll try and work out how to make a document out of it. And the other thing I'll do is I'm going to compile a comprehensive list of the organisations that the community's helped. You know, I was never going to list. I was never going to run out this, that, and all the names. But you've got a good idea. I'm sure somebody I know will be able to guide me and make a Word document out of that where people can download it. Right? But more importantly, David, it will be a list of how many organisations and how much that they have been raised and handed out by the people in our community.
Yeah.
As I say, one of the reasons we're a bit annoyed with this guy, nothing seems to have come yet. Dave and I haven't heard from the police. We have no notification on our community page on YouTube that we've broken community standards. So that seems to be all right. Say, because the thing that was annoying me is the damage that could be done to the causes that we help.
Yeah, it sounds to me like it's an older gentleman who's a bit disgruntled, who likes a particular organisation in Scotland, won't mention who, and at the end of the day, he supports United Kingdom, what they stand for. And what they stand for is Israel and arming Israel and all the rest of it. And anybody that stands against that, well, they need to go to prison. Simple as that. They're terrorists, so therefore they need to go to prison. Simple as that.
A real cut picture. But fortunately for me, I know who he is. He lives in this village, David.
Blood and soil. Blood and soil.
He is of this parish, this Mr. Anderson. So you guys, when you're out there talking about Bill Anderson, it might be somebody you know called Bill Anderson on Facebook, but that's not who this Bill Anderson is. This Mr. William Anderson lives in my village. Okay. Simple as that. And he's ran across one of my videos, probably recommended by the 5 or 6 people that I know who watch the videos.
Maybe the most important thing I should point out is that if any one of you decide to actually go to Dave's village and find this guy and do things, don't, please.
David, we don't have that sort of audience. We would
no. The thing is, our videos are heard by other people other than we've got on here, right?
Aye.
We've got to be certain that no action is taken against Mr. Anderson, because at the end of the day, it's like, really, I'm hoping that if we do get a chap at the door, then fine, we can deal with that. Or if YouTube decide to stop us broadcasting, we've got ways of dealing with that. So we don't require any violent action whatsoever.
No, we don't condone that sort of thing, David.
We are not terrorists.
And apart from that, if there was some sort of direct action needed against this guy, I would do it myself. I'm a big boy. Yeah. I have been known to get involved in altercations once upon a time when I was younger.
Yeah.
State sponsored, of course, all very legal. course, all very legal, but I have been known to get involved in the odd altercation. So if I do have to take
Chris
action in that direction,
Chris Wilson saying, let's have an independence march in your village, Davy.
you do that, they bother me. Anyway, Sir Larry, I guess you spotted Charlie the cat getting done. He's as big a fan of you, Sir Larry, as you are of him. Yeah. Well, folks, that's bang on 5 o'clock. It's been another fun one. I hope you found it interesting and informative. And I hope you have your laugh at it and all in places.
No, but the side, the vein that run through a lot of what we're talking about is the action by the Home Office and how they are putting onto the police services. The police services down in England, they're just going, oh yeah, that's what we're told to do, fine, they do it, right? But the police services in Scotland, I tell you what, read between the lines.
They're paying lips.
Policemen, policewoman, right? Fucking heroes. Brilliant. Absolutely superb. Round of applause, guys. Seriously. Keep doing what you're doing and give the Home Office a fucking body's worth.
Aye. Just pay them lip service, folks.
And I need for somebody from the Home Office to come on this channel and explain to the people of Scotland the logic behind what they are doing.
Nice to see you join us today. To say, I hope it was interesting. We hope it was informative. We hope you found the subjects we're talking about interesting as well. But Dave is right. There is an undercurrent all the way through this one, and that is the misuse of power by the Westminster government. The misuse of the Terrorism Acts and the Police Crimes Courts and Sentencing Act down that road, which was brought in under the Tories, which takes away the right to protest. I'm afraid, folks, that down that road, fascism has got its boots on. And when we've seen the headlines in the papers today about wasted money on diversity, equality, and inclusivity in public life and public service, that tells you that they're trying to infiltrate our nation with the same pish.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we have to protect and guard against that. Right,
anyway,
David?
Time up, right? Bye, guys. Bye, David.
Bye, guys. Thanks for tuning in massive numbers.